Hello and welcome to the Methodist Podcast, published on the 10th of September 2020. In this week's podcast, we talk to a university chaplain about the challenges of the new academic year. We chat with the incoming youth president about her welcome service this weekend, and we discover mission in a Norfolk dialect. This Sunday is Education Sunday, and students are heading off to universities and to colleges. On the line with me is Deleith Liddell, coordinating chaplain at Cardiff University. Deleith, I imagine this is going to be a very different start to the academic year for everybody.
Yes, it is. And yet it isn't. It's that sense of they are coming back or coming to university to study, and that's going to continue. The parameters around how that's going to happen obviously are slightly different. There will be a lot more online virtual lectures and training, but they're still at their universities doing the subjects that they've wanted to study and that they are committed to studying. And I think the key thing is, and what everybody's worried about for students, is the student experience, as we call it. Students who are used to making friends with their flatmates and going out and enjoying themselves. That's going to be so much harder under COVID circumstances and with the restrictions that may be ever changing over the next couple of months. Sometimes they might be able to go out or go to a friend's room, and other times they might not be, depending on where they are in the country. So I think our key worries for students are isolation and loneliness in the midst of, particularly for those who are coming or arriving in their new cities for the first time.
It must be often during those first few weeks of the academic year that people can find emotionally difficult. How are you going to reach out to the people who you need to talk to and tell them about chaplaincy?
So much of chaplaincy is personal. It's being there and coming across people and other people and people coming across the chaplaincy. And I think that's one of the key challenges for chaplaincies. There's going to be less people movement around the city or around the campus, because by and large, people will be staying in their rooms doing their lectures and studying online. So getting to them is really the issue. And many universities are being very proactive on this. Certainly my own is very proactive in making sure that there are plenty of opportunities online for students to connect with each other and to connect with chaplaincies. We're certainly looking to do that. And a lot of our meetings, the things that we would have done, are either going to be streamed on Facebook Live or are going to be Zoom meetings. Our talks are going to be on Zoom. Our quizzes and our kind of get to know you nights are all going to be on Zoom. But our worship, we are going to be doing on a small scale from the chapel at the university, in the hope that that might allow some connectiveness. The other thing, Cardiff University's chaplaincy, we did a £1 lunch for many years that brought in, 80 students on a once a week basis for curry and rice for £1. That's obviously gone out the window now. So we're not able to do that. And the only thing we could think to replace it was a dog walk and talk. So coming along for a walk and a talk with the chaplains as the chaplains walk their dogs. And I've got Dave, who's an 8-year-old beagle, who's very naughty, and Yanto, who's a 3.5-month-old puppy, who's very cute. So hopefully that will be an opportunity for students to connect with us in the great outdoors, where obviously social distancing is going to be easier.
Having the dogs there must make it a lot easier for people to open up and feel a lot less pressured. What are the sort of issues that students will often come to you with?
Students come with all kinds of issues. There may be issues that they've brought with them from home, like bereavements or parental problems, issues with parents and conversations that they've had. Many students talk to me personally about coming out as LGBT. When they come to university, it's one of the first opportunities they've got to really explore who they are as a person without really offending parents or offending home churches, and really exploring that and beginning to understand who they are, so that they can go back and have those difficult conversations from a place of understanding. Others will talk to us about loneliness and isolation. Those are the hardest to reach, though, because if you're in a place of loneliness and isolation, you can just feel so lonely you don't even want to go out the door. So we do our best to talk with students also about issues on their course. And I've had many students come to us at the chaplaincy, just not really sure that they're doing the course that they want to do. And of course, because we're not involved with their course or not involved with the university, really, we sit alongside the university, they can talk quite freely, and we can offer quite honest advice to them about whether they're in the right place at the right time. And that can be really empowering. And the number of students I've had who've decided to stay after a conversation with a chaplain has been really impressive.
I imagine if someone's unchurched, a conversation with the university chaplain could be their first formal introduction to faith.
Absolutely. And it can be a real challenge to people to cross the threshold of a chaplaincy, because if they don't understand what faith and religion is all about. And of course, chaplains, we are people of faith, and we do practice our own religion, but we don't push that on the students who come to talk to us. We are there to support and love and care for, pastorally care for, the students who are there regardless of whether they practice the same faith as us or a different faith to us, or don't really connect with the faith at all. I mean, obviously, there are benefits then of being able to talk with a student who might have an interest in faith, but that's always student-led and never forced upon by a chaplain.
Of course, you're not just supporting the students, but the staff as well. And I'm assuming that you're seen as part of the wider university welfare team.
Yeah, and it's really important to have a good relationship with the university hierarchy or the structures that are around you. At Cardiff, we've got a really good relationship with the student support team, and we'll be called in to assist for student deaths, for example. And yet the staff themselves often need a bit of support around the things that they're doing, whether they're tutors struggling with workloads, which are massive, and particularly at the moment with the pressures that they've got to suddenly turn everything that they've been teaching face-to-face into an online course. It's an immense pressure, and in a time when university staff have already been under pressure because of cuts to educational budgets. So it's really important to be there to support the staff.
This Sunday, the new Methodist Youth President, Phoebe Parkin, is going to be welcomed into her role with a service at Wellington Methodist Church, close to her home in Telford. The Youth President is elected each year at 3 Generate, the Methodist Children and Youth Assembly, and 18-year-old Phoebe is going to be representing the children and young people of the Methodist Church for the next 12 months. And she joins me on the line now. Hello, Phoebe.
Hello, Michael.
Now, Phoebe, why did you choose to stand for election as Youth President?
So, the Youth President role was something that I was aware of from going to 3 Generate. And then over a couple of years, youth leaders and district chairs and ministers were encouraging me to apply. So I looked more closely into what the role involved and whether it's something that fit into my sort of life plans. And yeah, I decided to apply, and I didn't think I would get the job, and I did. So my life plans were put on hold for a year.
And this is a full-time paid job, isn't it? What does the role involve?
Yeah, so for a year, I am employed by the Methodist Church to represent the children and young people of the Methodist Church. Day to day, that means that I'm in meetings where I voice young people's opinions, and I go to events to actually hear what young people have to say. And things like social media and keeping up with what's going on in the world and how that can affect young Christians So that's more of what the role involves on a day-to-day basis.
Part of the representing young people is also representing them in the media, isn't it? And even before you began, a couple of weeks ago, you were being interviewed by all sorts of BBC local radio stations around the country and their Sunday morning faith programmes discussing exam results. How did that go?
Yeah, so I was quite a surprise to be asked to do that. I didn't think that was something that I'd be doing. I had to get up very early. But that's okay. And it was just really great to be able to get into secular media and talk about my faith and the impact that has on young people. And like I say, be a voice for young Christians. And in secular media, that's quite rare.
Each year the youth president chooses a theme, don't they? And what's your theme going to be for this year?
So my theme is called God's World, Our Home, and that's all about caring for creation and young people taking the lead and being equipped to give the church a voice on climate action and climate change. But as much as my theme is really important to me, the role's so varying because it means that I can get involved with everything else that is going on in the church. So in that sense, I get quite a nice insight into the work that different teams are doing. And like I said before, get a young voice in there to try and influence how things are done in the church.
Your role normally involves lots of travel around the UK and even abroad to represent the young people of the church. But obviously this year is going to be a little bit different, isn't it?
Yes. So the job that I came into is very different from the job that I thought I was coming into. But it's really exciting actually to try and find new ways of doing things. And the flexibility and the way the church has adapted has been quite refreshing actually. I don't know what the next year will hold, whether I will be able to travel and meet people physically. But at the moment, I'm quite happy that I can still do things virtually. And embracing uncertainty is probably the biggest thing. It's just accepting that we don't know what 2021 or Christmas will even look like, and that's okay. And there's not a lot we can do about it. And so you have to sort of accept it and then carry on rather than trying to worry about it.
Your welcome service is going to be streamed online, isn't it? If we tune in, what are we going to see?
So the service is really a celebration from the district and my home church of sort of sending me out to do this ministry. So there's a liturgy where the role is sort of handed over to me officially. And then there's just lots of other things like hymns and prayers and a sermon. A lot of my service is going to be done by young people or is going to be heavily involving young people. And that was something that I was really keen to have because I want to show that young people are part of the church now and the amazing work that they're already doing. So I definitely think people should tune in because I think they'll be really, really pleased with how young people are engaging.
And if we'd like to join you and watch, how can we join in?
So because of COVID-19, a lot of the service will be pre-recorded and it's all going to be live streamed on the Wolverhampton and Shrewsbury District Facebook page, on the main Methodist Church Facebook page and the Methodist Church YouTube channel, which is a whole new thing for the Youth President service. They've not had a virtual service before, so it's been really interesting trying to prepare for that and see how we can do things differently, particularly things like handing over of the Bible and the chain of office. We've had to work out how to do that with physical distancing.
Online on Monday evening at 7 p.m, there'll be the launch of 3Generate 365, a new look Methodist Children and Youth Assembly for 2020. Now, I've still got Phoebe with me, and we've also been joined by Isaac now, who's a youth rep. Hello, Isaac.
Hello, Mike.
Now, Phoebe, first of all, what is 3Generate 365?
Yeah, so 3Generate 365 is a really exciting thing that is happening this year. So due to COVID-19, 3Generate 2020 is not happening physically, but 3Generate 365 aims to be a year of prayer and discernment for young people to see what God is calling them to do. And this is all going to culminate at the 2021 event of young people celebrating what they've learned throughout this year of prayer and reflection. And one of the real aims is to really get into local churches and get the dialogue really continuous and open between young people and their local churches and the wider church.
And this local interaction is going to be really important, isn't it? What will the young people be doing?
Yeah, so we are encouraging local churches to take 3Generate 365 in their own context and make it suitable for the young people that are within their church family. Obviously, this all needs to be done with government guidelines and social distancing, it's about local churches taking control of how they speak to young people, and then our job as the connectional team is to give them the resources and the encouragement to be able to do that.
Isaac, you're a youth rep and you're going to be playing a key role in 3Generate 365, aren't you? What does being a youth rep actually involve?
So as a rep, we are here to represent the voices of the young people. So there's many roles within the reps. I'm a BYC rep. So I work with the BYC team to talk about matters that matter most to the young people outside the church. So we talk about refugees, we do loads of campaigning. So we talk with MPs, different churches, different religions to get their sense on things. And then we build a manifesto which we can empower young people to take to their MPs to then see if they can make any change on that as well. So that's my role, but there's many other roles. You got conference reps who go to conference, speak to the more higher people above and talk to them about what the young people want to happen in church, what changes they want to see as well. So yeah, there's many other roles within the rep role.
And the voting for the youth reps and for the youth president, that's going to be done via an app this year, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's going to be part of the 365, the whole thing. So on the app that's going to come with the program, you will be able to vote for who you want to, want to represent you in very different ways. There's going to be the manifestos on there, I think, as well. So it's just getting a new way to vote, because maybe not everyone gets a chance to vote on the day of the event if everyone's there. So we were just thinking, when we were planning this out last year at Cliff, we were thinking about how we could, make it more accessible to other people as well.
3Generate 365 is going to be launched online on Monday evening at 7 p.m. Tell me, Phoebe, what's going to be happening?
So we are kicking off 3Gen 365 next week on Monday. There's going to be a 7 p.m. live broadcast, and that will be advertised on various Methodist social media platforms. So go and check that out. And throughout the week, there will be other live broadcasts at 7 p.m. There'll be things on various social media channels, all about 3Gen 365. So yeah, go and register for 365 on the Methodist Church website. It's really easy, it's really quick, and it's a great thing to be involved in.
I retired about 14 years ago, coming back to my roots, and I immediately started to pick up where I left off, and I've always had a love of the Norfolk dialect. So I lapse back into it really easy. When I get talking to people in Norfolk, I just share a little bit of dialogue. And it's been a wonderful tool during my ministry.
Deacon Brenda Hayes is from Norfolk, where she's turned the local dialect into a missional opportunity with a new book that's raising money for Action for Children.
When I was in Norwich, for instance, I had a very part-time chaplaincy in a hospital which is no longer open for elderly people. And I'd go and spend an afternoon there. And one week I went in particular, and a member of staff said to me, "Brenda, we've got an old lady who's just been admitted and she won't talk to us. We think that she's lived in the same village all her life." So I said, "Leave it with me." So I went up to her and I said, "Hello, my woman, what's the matter?" And she started to, she had a smile on her face. And then she started to cry and she said, "My woman, I'm feeling ill a bed and what's up," which is a wonderful Norfolk expression. And this went on in this sort of vein. And you see, it unlocked her. And I think that as a deacon, that I'm called to perhaps unlock a few people and to just get them relaxed and talking. So during lockdown, I decided to do a project. I would write these silly verses and post them online. I got an amazing response. People said, "You've made my day. You brought a smile to my face." And I thought, well, this is all part of ministry. And then was urged to put them into a little book, which I've done now, and selling them for Action for Children. Sometimes I'm able to weave a little bit of Christian faith into it. I'm just trying to find you this particular one, which I think you might enjoy. The sun was shining brightly upon the glittering sea. Tricky enjoyed a lovely swim. My heart, what ecstasy! In sheer delight he hollered, oped his mouth, then gave a shout. Suddenly he was in distress. My bloomin' teeth shot out. I can hardly manage without 'em. With my gums I cannot chew. Oh, this is a calamity. Whatever shall I do? At crack of dawn he walked the shore, gone towards Webben Way. Upon the stones he saw a sight that simply made his day. He'd thought his teeth was gone out to sea. He'd not see them no more. Instead, the tide had brought 'em in, bit further along the shore. My teeth, he hollered out with glee, and shoved 'em in his gob. Can't wait for my pork crackling. These teeth'll do the job. And do you know, I reckon if Jesus, when on earth, lived right here with Norfolk as the county of his birth, instead of tales about lost things like sheep to aid belief, he might have spun a rare good yarn about Tricky and his teeth. For finding teeth what's lost at sea makes for jubilation. Come on, old partners, join with me. This calls for celebration.
This week's prayer is shared with us by Delith Liddell, Coordinating Chaplain at Cardiff University.
A student's prayer. Our God, who is unchanging, be with us in these changing times. As we approach this new university year where everything has changed, lectures are online and meetings with friends and colleagues are socially distanced, we can feel so uncertain and unsteady. Yet you are our God, the rock of our salvation, who is always with us and who wholly loves each one of us with a holy love. May we sense that connection to you and build connections with each other that we may truly be ourselves, finding support and community in our new university. Thank you, God, for the strength that you can give us. May Jesus be the example that we follow, and may the Holy Spirit bring us peace. Amen.
Thank you for listening to this week's Methodist podcast. If you've got any stories that you'd like us to cover, do let us know. From myself, Mike Ivat, goodbye.